Welcome everyone. I'm just putting the chat, but it is so lovely to see so many of you, and thank you for joining this session. Dive into digital data for digital growth. And as Alice said, I am sure many of you all have already come with questions, or I'm going to say something and it will spark an idea. Please do put it in the chat and we will get to as much as that as we can afterwards. I will try not to talk too much. I'll deliver as much as I can, and then we can get into all of your individual questions. So this session that I have created specifically for this Digital Boost Masterclass aims to demystify the complex world of digital analytics, providing you all with the insights needed to make informed decisions that drive your business forward. We're going to learn how to track, analyze, and interpret your online presence, from website traffic to social media engagements, and discover the untapped potential of your content. We're going to look at some practical strategies and tools to measure what matters most to you, helping you to refine your digital strategy, enhance your online visibility, and ultimately achieve sustainable growth, which is what we all want, right? So whether you're looking to improve your marketing efforts or gain a competitive edge, this masterclass will empower you with the knowledge to leverage your data for maximum impact. And as Alice mentioned, I'm all about going off on a tangent mostly, but making it interactive. So pens and paper at the ready. Here's your first question. How often should you check your data? Don't put the answer in the chat, just make a mental note of it or write it down. We are going to be coming to it in a minute. So now that I've done a bit of that, my name is Emma York. I am a social media trainer. I'm a digital boost mentor, and I'm owner of Fresh Approach Digital. And I help founders and business owners and creators to tackle their online presence successfully, whether that is from the very beginning with strategy or help with their social media. So enough about me. Let's get straight into your masterclass today. Data acts as the backbone of strategic decisions, highlighting that understanding and utilizing data is no longer optional, but a necessity for your growth online. Digital analytics is the collection, measurement, analysis, and reporting of web data for purposes of understanding and optimizing web usage. That's like a Wikipedia definition, but that in the main is what data analytics means. It basically helps you measure your web traffic, but it can also be used as a tool for businesses and creators and individual founders to look at market research and to assess and improve the effectiveness of a website and overall marketing strategy. Your data is completely unique to you and your online content. Just let that sink in for a minute. While I'm here, hopefully to explain and help you understand and talk about data, and while I will talk about specific things that we can all do the same, whatever the results are completely unique to you. Remember that whatever data we talk about today or in your time of being online, or where you like to check your analytics, they will never, ever be the same as anyone else's. Even if you are looking or working with a competitor and you both do exactly the same thing, you sell the same product, you offer the same service, your data will be completely unique to you. So with that in mind, before you can start to track your data and find out what is working for you, you need to identify what it is that you want to achieve. What are your marketing objectives? And it's okay if you don't know that yet, but have that question in mind. That is your end, the end of the chain. What is it that you really want to achieve down the road? And then we can help you get there. Then the best thing to do is set KPIs, which stands for key performance indicators. And again, KPIs are unique to you and your business or your product or whatever it is that you are doing online. Your goals are not the same as anyone else's. Therefore, your KPIs and the results that you gain are unique to you. A key performance indicator is a measurable value that demonstrates how effectively you are achieving key business objectives. So again, how you're getting to your end goal. You can use KPIs at multiple levels and at multiple times within your business and within your strategy all over the place to evaluate the success of reaching your goal. High-level KPIs may focus on the overall performance of the business, while low-level KPIs may focus on processes and individual departments such as sales, marketing, or HR, or support. So you can have lots and lots of little ones. You can have an overall one for the whole business. You can just have one. It can matter to you depending on what your goals are. So as an example, if your marketing objective is to increase your sales revenue, you would define your KPI by giving it a number. So for example, 20%. Or you want to grow your email list, your KPI could be increase my email list by 15% in 6 months. So defining your KPIs, you want to ask yourself, what will the outcome be? Why does it matter? And how will I measure it? And then you review the progress. So I always recommend that people evaluate the relevance of the KPI and to use SMART. So if you've never heard that before, it is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, timeframe. So what I mean by that is your KPI very, very specific to your business? It needs to be. It can't just be grow my business, that makes sense. It absolutely could be that, but you're never going to understand how you got to the end, even if you do get there. It's too generic, it's too broad. So make your KPIs really, really specific. Make them measurable. It's really nice to have KPIs, but if it isn't something that you can measure, if that data is not attainable, it won't help you get to the end result as well. And that is, again, measurable and then attainable. Is it relevant to your business? And is it relevant to helping you obtain your marketing objective? And then also give it a time frame. So like the last example, you want to increase your email list by 15% in 6 months. So that's making it very specific. It's measurable and you're adding a time frame. So that's the best possible way to set your KPI to helping you obtain your marketing objective. So be clear, review your KPIs, analyze them against the data, and then this will help you future-proof for the evolution of your business. So we're getting into I've told you all what it is, why you should be doing it, how you do that. Let's get into the actual data. What are you talking about, Emma? What does data mean? What should I be tracking? So you have your business goals, you've got your KPIs, and now you want to look at the data from all the content, from all the marketing you have already been doing, or if you're one step ahead, what marketing then you will be doing. So whether you are using Google Analytics for your website or direct insights from your social media channels, data insights, there are some very real and specific metrics that you could and should be tracking to show you how your content is performing. It isn't all good, I will say that right now, but it is good to check the data, because if you've been putting a lot of time and effort into your online content and your data is showing you that it just isn't performing, it's better for you to know, so then you can switch it up and change it so that it does work. So not all data is welcome. It's not all fun and rainbows, but it is good to check the data so that you know, so then you are not wasting time, or you can put more time into something. So essential data tracking is your website performance, its social media activities, and the conversion metrics that you are getting from those. An integrated approach that views these channels as part of a holistic strategy is really, really vital. So it's important that you have your business strategy, then your KPIs, and then helping you deliver on the goals that you want to achieve. And each piece of data, each analytic, each insight has its platforms have its own unique metrics and insights that, when combined, provide a comprehensive view of digital performance. So we're going to get into that right now. Sorry, too many clicks. Bear with me. Here we go. There we go. So we're going to talk first about website analytics. Now, I know some of you may not all have a website, or you may be thinking you might want to get one, or you're thinking maybe of getting rid of it. So hopefully these tips will help you whether you have a website or not. So specific website metrics to track, we're going to talk about that now. You can track page views, unique visitors, bounce rate, average session durations. They're all the ones that I will first and foremost look at in any data review. And Google Analytics can provide insights into all of these. Now, I will very quickly say, I know there are lots of other ways of tracking website data. I personally use Google Analytics, and that is what I'm using in my examples for you today. So tracking these can help identify where improvements are needed and how users' experience can be enhanced within your website to improve your online marketing. The very first one I want to talk to you about is traffic. This is referred to by Google as users. So as you can see here in this example here, the 12K number is users. That is the traffic to your website. So some online experts in Google Analytics deem that traffic users is one of the best and most important metrics for you all to be tracking, as it enables everything that comes after they've dropped into your website. So traffic means people, visitors, users coming into your website. So it is very important that you track that. It then leads them onto the engagement that they're having within your website, and then essentially conversions, which is what you want to get to your end marketing goal. You want to be looking at your users, the traffic to your website over a period of time. And that is going to help you identify whether there is an increase, which means you're providing valuable content, or there is a decrease, which means people or your users are then not interested so much in what you're providing. Now, in the example that you're looking at here, this is over a 90-day period in Q1 of 2024. So the first 3 months of this year, and that's based over a 90-day period. So you're seeing quite a bit of data. Now, what you can see are the 2 arrows that I've put on here. They're quite visible, positive spikes within the time frame of the 90-day. So then what I do is within that, I then look back across everything that I've done with my client over the 90 days. What was I doing kind of mid-January? Was there a campaign? Was there an email? Was there social media? Was there Facebook ads? What was happening around that to cause such a big spike and then a huge drop off? So it's what was I doing with the content at that time? What was I driving to the website? And then also, as you can see in February, it kind of plateaus off with a few more spikes, and then another really big one in March. So again, I go back and I look at what were we doing? We were doing a load of things. We were launching a whole new product, and the call to action in the content that we were putting out online was go to the website. So I can quite clearly attribute the work that was being done online, organically, in paid ads, all the work we were doing to drive people to the website just on the 1st of March worked because we had a big spike. So this is why tracking users and your traffic is important. It helps you understand whether all the things you're doing online, your social media content, your email marketing campaigns, all of your call to actions, if you're driving people to the website, whether it's working or not. So that's basically that for users. Another one to look at is your average engagement time. Now, when Google Analytics changed from Google Analytics to now we're in Google Analytics 4 or GA4, which you may have heard of, it just means it's like when you go to your local supermarket and they have a refresh and they move the veg aisle all the way down, and now you've got to walk through clothing to get to dairy, and it's just annoying, but they think it's a good way of getting you to shop the supermarket. Google Analytics did the same thing. They added a whole load of new features, which is brilliant, but then they swapped it all around and made it look less so. So unfortunately, some wording is a little bit different, but average engage time is also called dwell time. And what that means is the amount of time some individual users are spending within your website. Now, for this particular client in this example, we write a lot of blogs. We are trying to target teachers and parents and group leaders. So we write a lot of educational blogs and then pinpoint them towards the products that we're selling. So we want them to be in the website. We want them to read the blogs. And in the main, they are mostly about a 2-minute read. Now, for me to see that in the last 90 days, the average dwell time of users is 1:54, that makes me really happy because that means people have come in, they've stayed in, which means they're probably reading the majority of the blogs that I've written. They're staying within the website and looking at multiple pages. So looking at average engagement time will really give you an idea of how many people, once you've looked at users, how many people are coming in and how long they're staying. The longer people are staying on average means that they're more engaged. And you can drill down into lots more Google Analytics data to see what pages they click on and what they're interacting with. This is just your overview here. So this is a phenomenon. Just these 2 steps alone are great data for you to be tracking. Then we go into social media analytics, and social media insights hold a huge potential for you to understand your outreach in the digital sphere. The key metrics I would recommend that you monitor are engagement rate and post reach. But again, you can track a phenomenal amount of things. These are just the ones if you felt overwhelmed by data, or you are struggling for time, or you want to outsource this to someone else. These are the top ones that are really going to help you understand your data. And if you did nothing else, these alone are going to help. Those 2, so engagement rate and post reach, they're going to help you understand the performance of your content and the audience behavior and how they are engaging with it. Now, Meta Business Suite, again, they keep moving things around, which is very frustrating, but I have to say is one of the best places if you have a Facebook business page and or an Instagram business page. Meta Business Suite is the best place for you to look at your data because it's all there in one place. You can connect your Facebook business page with your Instagram business page. They will sit together alongside each other and you can see all the data in one place and not have to dive around. Now, there are a lot of paid for subscriptions and software. I can rattle off a few: Hootsuite, Later, Buffer, Agorapulse, now Adobe Express. There are free versions and paid for versions where you can look at all your analytics. But from someone who has worked in social media for over a decade, the very best and most accurate place to get your data is always within the app itself. So if you have a Facebook page and an Instagram page, the best place to get your data is within those apps. Because if you go through a third party, you're only going to be able to see the data that the API that Meta has allowed that third party to access. So you're not going to be able to see everything all the time. It doesn't matter how pretty the pie chart is that Hootsuite gives you. It sometimes doesn't have all the data that you want. So again, this is just an example of my Meta Business Suite. And on the left-hand side, you would all see the same menu, whether you've got Facebook page in there or Instagram page. I have the 2 connected because they're business accounts. So you have an overview, which is a phenomenal place to start. So it shows you Facebook and Instagram side by side with the overview metrics, which are engagement rate and post reach, and then you can drill down into a bit more. It then gives you a plan. Now, this is a brand new feature. So if you click on plan, Facebook then starts suggesting, or Meta, sorry, starts suggesting things that you can do on your Facebook page and your Instagram page to increase your reach, engagement, follow account. You can choose a little goal within the business suite. You toggle it on, and then Meta will start suggesting more things that you can do within the insights to get you more data and achieve the goal that you have set. You've then got all of the results. So this just gets in and delivers more data for you. Your audience, this is quite an interesting one. So tap on that and it will show you side by side the audience that you have on Facebook and the audience that you have on Instagram. Sometimes they're very similar, sometimes they're not. It's really good for you to see who you're talking to on each channel, because it might help you switch up, change, repurpose content, or talk to a different audience on a different channel. It's very easy and super simple to create your content and post it out to both channels at the same time. And that works for a lot of people. But if your audience on Facebook is very different to your Instagram audience, you might want to think about switching up that content, and that data will tell you who you're talking to. And then my favorite tab is this one that we've clicked on, which is benchmarking. So it's all very well and good me wanging on here about how great data is and you should be checking it and you should be doing this. But it's really hard for even me to say you should be tracking all of this because your competitors are doing this. I don't know that. And if you're just starting, you too don't know that. And if you said to me, oh, Emma, my engagement rate is 85%, is that really good? Well, in the main, yes, but you want to be able to track that. So benchmarking will help you track your data and look at it compared to others in your field or business sector. And Meta does this all for you. There's no work for you to do here. So this again is the last 28 days, and that's by default. So Meta has compared my performance of my last 28 days of content across Instagram. Sorry, this is just Facebook. As you can see in the little drop down here, it's just toggled to Facebook. And it is comparing me against other creators and celebrities, thank God, in my category. So it's really interesting. So again, I would imagine with all the keywords that I put in all my content for social media, trainer, mentor, educator, they're going to be comparing me to like-minded pages. And then, as it says, the results are based on businesses with similar organic 28-day reach in my category. So here, I'm kind of just underneath the 50th percentile. So I know that I'm not performing as well as I should. Haven't posted as much on Facebook in the last 28 days. I know that. And if I want to perform more, if I want to do more on Facebook, I want to be hanging out here in this, 50, 75, 5th percentile or even more. So it's just showing me where I'm sitting right now, then gives you options to immediately create a post and go from there. So all your benchmarking is, again, unique to you and what content you're posting. And then the next one, that next little tab in the benchmarking page. So the first one was a business comparison. So that's comparing my businesses to others. The next little tab is businesses to watch. Now, this is from one of my clients. They are a water sports, holiday and training company. And I have added in a few more businesses that are similar to them or ones they like to look at or compare themselves with, so that I can see on a regular basis how well they're doing in comparison with their competitors. It shows you page likes. It shows you, how many page likes you've received in the last 28 days and how much content you've posted. So it's just good to look at that and see how well you're doing. If you have to report to someone higher up, it's nice to have that benchmarking level, because they'll always say, well, how do we know that this is good stats or good data? You can then compare it with others. It's then also quite interesting for you to see. So let's say the UKSA compared to my client Rockley Water Sports, we have about half of their followers, but we're getting a lot of regular page likes, as are they. And we're similar amounts of content every 28 days. So that's nice for us to see. We're on a comparison. They are a much bigger company, and that's potentially why their following account is bigger. Don't know, but it's good to be able to see that. And it's very easy to add businesses. You tap on that the blue button there, and you can start typing in a Facebook business page. Now, it does have to be quite exact, and then Facebook will start giving you a list and you can click on it, or they suggest some underneath. So sometimes they're not relevant. Sometimes they've tended to just pick the location you're in, and sometimes they don't work. But if you find in the suggested box underneath that they're super relevant, you can just add them, and then Facebook will start drawing in that data, which is super, super helpful. So I've talked about analytics, website stats, and data, the stuff that you could and should be tracking, the stuff that you can look at, how you can look at those, and where you can do that. Now, it would be remiss of me not to be really honest with you all here. I strive to be honest in everything I do. So there are what I call unattractive analytics. Now, some call them vanity metrics, and some people say you absolutely shouldn't be tracking X, Y, and Z. I will never tell you not to do something unless you want to go down the route of political and inappropriate. Then I will absolutely tell you not to do it. But in terms of data tracking, you can track as much as you want, but you will get overwhelmed with numbers. So start small and then start drilling down. And again, I won't tell you not to do something, but I'm just going to highlight what I call unattractive. Some metrics can be less useful than others, and some can be very distracting. You could be wasting valuable time tracking them and possibly not able to learn useful insights about your content. So the first one I'm going to talk about is bounce rate. And this is quite specific to your website. So when I talked about dwell time, this is another time frame metric. So bounce rate refers to when someone comes into your website and then immediately leaves. So they bounce straight back out. So they've either come in because they've clicked on a Facebook ad or a blog or a social media post, and for any reason, and nobody can determine this, it's either because they already have all the information they want, it's either that your website could be quite slow to load and they don't want to wait, so they leave, or once they've clicked in, it's not, the information that they've got in there isn't what they were looking for, and so they leave. Now, sometimes people focus too much on bounce rate. If you have an incredible homepage of your website and it's given everybody the information they leave, and they go immediately to another page in your website, or they go immediately to your Facebook page, or they immediately call you, your bounce rate is going to be really, really high. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you've given them everything you want. Your call rate's really high. Your Facebook engagement is really high. So don't be daunted by a very high bounce rate. However, if you've written a big, nice 800-word blog and it takes 3.5 minutes to read, like I do, and my bounce rate is 99%, I know I've written a really bad blog and nobody wants to read it. So that's really helpful data, because then I can go, right, it's either too long, they didn't want it, the title, I need to work that out. So then I go back and I redo things, and I'll try it again later on. So don't get overwhelmed by it, but have a look at bounce rate. This is a controversial one and I love it, but social media likes. It is an engagement, but it is not a conversion. It is not even a click. Therefore, I don't personally track likes. I don't report on it for any of my clients. It's there, but I don't include it. So Facebook likes by themselves are an absolutely meaningless way of when you're tracking your content success, because it doesn't mean anything to you. It hasn't, if someone likes your content and nothing else, that's not going to help you get to your end result. It may do in a month's time or 6 months' time, because they've liked something else, clicked on a link, gone to your website and bought your thing, but you can't ever attribute that back to the original like. So it's a really clunky metric to track. Again, you absolutely can. It's just hard for you to attribute it to an end marketing goal. And as many of you might know, that Instagram has already released that you can actually hide likes on your pages, on your content, sorry. You can actually go through the edit and hide the amount of likes. People won't then be able to see that. So, and they've done that in an effort to help other people creating content with mental health and awareness and things like that. So tracking likes isn't always a great use of your time. What you want to think more about is clicks. A click is a visit. So sending someone to your profile and clicking on your link in bio, or clicking on your website in the Facebook description, or physically asking them to click on something. Think more about that than a like. And the last one in my little rant about unattractive analytics is followers. Again, massively controversial, and I get asked this. This is the biggest one I get asked about the most. And again, you absolutely can track your followers and your follower growth. I don't personally spend a lot of time on this. Let me ask you another question. Would you rather have 10,000 followers who just were on your page as 10,000 followers? Or would you rather have 100 fully engaged followers who bought your stuff, who commented, who shared to their stories, who visited your website regularly? Would you rather have that than a huge follower number? Think about that more. If you have a bricks and mortar shop, would you imagine if you had 10,000 people come in, would actually not be a great day, because you'd probably run out of stock. You probably wouldn't have enough people to be able to service them all, and you would be overbooked and overwhelmed, and that's not great. So follower count, massive follower counts, or even big follower counts does not always mean success. Let me throw some stats at you, and I'm going to talk about Facebook specifically because they've delivered these stats and they're really interesting. So on Facebook, organic reach declines dramatically the more followers you have. It's not ideal, but it is true. So if you have between 1,000, 5,000 followers on your Facebook business page, your reach will be around 30%. That's not bad. That's nice. And hopefully from that, then 30%, you'll get engagement and then conversions. If you have between 10,000 and 100,000, that reach then drops, or your follower reach will drop to 20%. And if you have over, I believe it's just before 1 million, so 900 and 1 million or more followers, you are likely to be reaching only 10% of your following. Now, that's still huge when you have 1 million, but that's not ideal. So think about those kind of numbers. If you're thinking, I have to have 10,000 followers, you don't have to. It's all about how engaged your followers are. So think quality engagement and not quantity followers. Rant over. So again, a few more clicks here, bear with me. So massive thank you. And before I wrap it all up, and hopefully I've not gone over time, let's go back to the question that I immediately asked you at the beginning. Hopefully you've either all got a number in your mind or you all wrote it down on paper. And the question was, how often should you check your data? Very quickly now, get in the chat and just put a number there, and then I will give you the answer. So I'll give you a minute. Let's get in the chat. There's loads in there already. Let's see all these numbers coming in. Monthly, interesting. Thank you, Charlie. Once a week. Amy, I need a word. Weekly. Leo, every day. Leo, have a rest. Weekly, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, once a week. Keep coming. Nobody's going to shock me. Come on. Weekly, 1 times monthly, once a week, once a week, once a week, once a week. This is so interesting. The majority of you, Alice, I don't know if you can see all of these. It looks like 4 times a week. Okay. So the majority of these, you've all said either weekly or once a week, and for the person who said daily, I need to send you a care package. The answer to this question is at a minimum, at a maximum, monthly. So by default, and if we go back to the slides I showed you before, by default, Google, Meta, and the majority of the others will by default show you 28 days or 30 days, and then you can toggle and change it. So within Instagram, TikTok, all of them, you can change it to 7 days, 14 days, and 90 days, etc., etc. So, but by default, they all revert to a 28-day, 30-day. So the answer really is monthly. If you want to check, please don't check it daily, because I'm now overwhelmed with the overwhelm that you would be in. Checking your analytics daily is not going to help, because what you will see is only an aggregate of that first, possibly the first 24 hours, which is always massive when you share content online or on your website. It's massive in the first 24 hours. And then after that, you'll see a drop. And then you might not feel so great and think, oh, and they just don't like it anymore. You've got to leave it. The engagement time of social media content specifically is much longer now than it used to be. You used to post something and then you'd see a huge spike, and then that would be the end of the engagement time period. Whereas now it is much longer. Let's talk specifically about Instagram Reels, my favorite, TikToks, Facebook Reels. You will see a big spike in the first 24 hours. Then you'll see it plateau off. Then you'll see another spike in 2 days and 5 days, and then possibly a week. And then randomly 2 weeks down the line, the algorithm has pushed out your content because someone has searched for your content with those keywords. You'll get another spike 2 weeks later, and then possibly a month later. And then you gain a new follower 6 months later, and they go through your profile and look at your content. You'll get spikes all over the place. So you absolutely can track daily and weekly, but for your own sanity and to really help understand your data, if you set it at a month or your 28 days, you can then track that against the previous 28 days and the previous 28 days. And the reason why they do it as a default 28 days is because not every month has 30 or 31. So it just helps because every month is 28. And that's why they do that. So to have that at 28 days, and it just will show you a much more, you'll see way more about your content rather than looking at it even weekly. Everything will change every week. So if you look at it every 28 days, that's really healthy. And then you can compare it to the further 28 days. And then you want to look at it and you break it down into your Q1, Q2, and then every year. So whenever your financial year or your business year or however you come to an end, you would want to do it then as well. You want to do a full review of everything you've done that year and then compare it to the year before. And then you have got a wonderful look. That almost then helps you structure your plan for your next business year or your next campaign. So thank you all so much for taking part in that. That was not where I thought you were all going to go. And that's really interesting for me. That's actually educated me. So I love that. Thank you all so very much. I hope I haven't bored you all to tears or you've all gone off and put me on mute and eaten your lunch. Thank you so much, Alice and Digital Boost. If for any reason you would like a specific mentoring session, it's 1 hour completely for free. And I can talk about a whole range of subjects, not just data, strategy, marketing. TikTok is my jam. Please have a look, scan the QR code if you can, or if you want to just come and find me on the social media channels, I am at Fresh Approach Digital. That's enough now. I'm going to hand back to Alice and stop sharing my screen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Emma. I'm going to change my screen so I can see everybody. You definitely didn't bore us. I could see everybody very diligently taking their notes. So I think you've got everybody very engaged. And we've got about 15 minutes, which hopefully we can blast through all of these questions. So Charlie has said, let me move my chat box. I'm not looking off to the side. Charlie has asked, so they've said, we've got a Hootsuite account and a business Meta. We find the results don't always align. What's your advice on this? Are Meta results accurate to those results directly from the app as well? That is a great question to kick off with.
That's a stunning question. And it's what I said before. So within Meta, within your Facebook page and your Instagram account and the Meta Business Suite insights, you are going to get the most accurate account of your content because that's where you've posted it. It belongs to Meta, and therefore they will share that with you. There's no fluff, there's nothing. That's the most accurate that I, in my experience, have found. Hootsuite, Later, Buffer, Agorapulse, all of them, they are a third party and they are allowed only so many analytics through the API that Meta allows them to have, that they then have to pay for and they have access to and things. So it will never be the same because they get the data in a different package and they only are allowed to show you what Meta allows them to have. So unfortunately, while many of them will tell you their analytics is as good as, and it's absolutely right, I have never found that to be so. Now, I don't work for Meta. I'm just totally going with what I have experienced, but I think you are always better off going to the app where your content is to get the data. So I go to TikTok and get my analytics there. I use Meta Business Suite, and that's how I do it.
That's really helpful. Thank you. Amy had a question when you had the Meta business page on your slides.
Yep.
They were asking what we were looking at there, and that might be a question potentially to take into a one-to-one. I don't know if you want to bring that slide up again.
Which slide was it? Was it this? It was the Meta Business Suite. Let's
yes,
go
I think
back
it's when you have
into
multiple businesses potentially showing there.
Great question, Amy. I love it. Let's bring up my thing again, and maybe I can go back to my slides. Maybe.
And Amy, I can see you on screen, so feel free to, if I'm misreading the question or anything, feel free to pop it in the chat.
Oh yeah, hopefully everyone can see that. So if I go back, someone give me, Amy, pure indulgence, give me a thumbs up if you can see that slide. Perfect. Right, I'm just trying to go back. Oh yeah, here we go. Go back, go back. Oh, here we go. Was it that one, Amy? Yes. So your question, what is it that you're looking at? Right. So this is my personal Facebook business page, so Fresh Approach Digital, and it's just my Facebook page. So I've gone into Meta Business Suite in the insights, and in this left-hand menu, I've clicked on benchmarking. So this is Meta showing me how my Facebook page is comparing to other business pages like mine in my industry, so marketing and education and social media, other pages in the last 28 days. So my business is right here, right in this second little tab. So 25th percentile with some businesses, 50th, and I'm down here. Now, I knew I was going to be there. I haven't posted as much as I normally do on Facebook in the last month, the last 28 days. So it's just showing me where I'm sitting. So what that means is that's showing me how often I have posted. Now, some other businesses' pages on Facebook that are similar to mine are clearly posting a lot more. They're in the 50th. So that's like 20 times in a month. So that's basically nearly once a day, give or take. And I posted a shocking 4 times. So 1 a week, which is, you know, depends what you want by being on that channel. I know I don't get leads from Facebook. I do it as a brand awareness exercise. And once a week is not great. Shame on me, but I'm not going to be posting every day. So it's just for me to understand, or for you guys to understand, how you sit among other businesses that are exactly like yours. And I don't know if it's helpful if I go to the next tab. Yeah, this one was still within that benchmarking page, and it's physically showing where the page I'm looking at sits against other pages that I have selected. So competitors that I want to track. Does that answer your question, Amy? Yes, double thumbs up.
Fantastic. And that's really good to see. So thank you for going back and showing that, Emma. That's fantastic. Bharat has a fantastic chunky question, so bear with me. So Bharat has said, is it possible to combine social media insights with Google Analytics and other sources to build a richer, complete data source to analyze? If yes, what would you recommend, and are there any caveats?
Can you just say the first bit of that question again?
Definitely. So I think it's about whether you can combine social media insights with Google Analytics and other data sources to build a richer picture to then analyze.
Best question ever. The answer is yes. Yes, you absolutely can. And there's so many ways. Some of my clients love the old school spreadsheet. So I will pick top tier metrics from Google Analytics. So let's say users, average engagement time, top landing page, and I'll pick 4 or 5. And then I'll take their social media channels and do the same thing. And I'll physically, it's mind numbing, but I physically put it into a spreadsheet. And then I've got a system where all the columns, I will put January, February, and everyone has a month. And then I can actually do it every year. So I've one particular client, I've now done a whole year with them. So I can now start tracking that data against last year's data. So there is that way of doing it, but that's fully manual. I built that myself and putting it in a spreadsheet. And I only do it with a select amount, because if you tracked all the data, it would be mind numbing. And what I find is a lot of my clients, I spend so long educating them, they just want to know the top numbers. So they don't need a whole this masterclass. They just want to know page views, dwell time every month, and compared it to the month before. So yes, you absolutely can. I do it in a spreadsheet. You can also do it in Google Analytics. So there is a way that you can look at all your Facebook and Instagram, and it's called referral traffic. Now, it won't tell you things like the individual social media analytics of audience and benchmarking and followers and that. But what it does show is when someone has visited your social media channel and they've come immediately into your website, Google Analytics will show you that as referral traffic. So that's a nice way to see it all in one place. I would imagine there's probably tools out there that are paid for. There is a platform called Maybe, so the word maybe, M-A-Y-B-E, where you can bring everything in. You hook it up to your Google Analytics, your Facebook, your Instagram, and it's like a monthly a payment structure, and they do it for you, and it brings it all in a report. You can have pie charts and bar graphs. Again, that's a paid for service. So the answer is yes, and you absolutely should be combining them. You can either do it yourself or pay someone to do it for you.
Wow, that's fantastic. And Bharat said that they have a data background, so that question makes sense now. So hopefully that's helpful. Just trying to whiz through all of the questions because they keep coming, which is great. This is related to the meta page we just talked about. Kate has a question, which is, does Are the other businesses alerted if you are comparing yourself to them in Meta?
No, it's wonderful. It's like a really creepy stalk. They don't know you're comparing them. They can compare you. Oh, it's just wonderful. Meta does it for you, so nobody is alerted that because it's free and open data. Because even if you did it yourself, you can go and have a look how many followers they've got. If you were really geeky, you go and count how many posts they did in a month, and you could see how many likes and comments and shares. You could do it all yourself. Meta's just taking that out of the loop and doing it for you. So no, they don't get alerted.
Fantastic. Leo says they have to leave, but they wanted to ask a question. No problem, it'll be in the replay. Leo has said, are there any ways to find out keywords for social media campaigns? There are a lot of tools for SEO, but not for social media. That's an interesting angle.
Fantastic question. I love this one. And depending on what channel you want to specifically put your content on, I'm going to talk about TikTok because Alice knows I love it. And this is a fantastic topic. If you were creating a TikTok campaign and you want to put content on there and you want to know what relevant keywords, use TikTok. Use the search bar within TikTok to find the content that other people are looking for, searching for. And while you might say, oh God, TikTok is not a search engine, people are not searching. Yes, they are. It is a search engine and people are searching for stuff all the time. And what you want is for all your stuff, your content, your products, your services to appear when someone is typing. So type in all the things that your business does, what you create, what you sell, what your services, type it in. Then TikTok will show you, it will show you a list of hashtags. It will show you a list of videos that have already been created. They'll show you content. And then you can go, this is the kind of thing I want to be appearing for. And that's when you know that those keywords should be appearing in your content. Now, it is the same now for all channels, although I will not speak about Twitter because I just don't know what is going on over there. So I can't really claim. I'm not going to talk about it. But the same for LinkedIn and the same for Instagram. So again, go in that channel and use the search bar and search for what you want your business to be known for, what you want to turn up for in a search result, and then use the information that they're giving you in the app and then put those keywords in your content. It's that easy.
Thank you. And Kate's just put something lovely there. Kate said, I sold a bag on my website this week as someone saw on TikTok. Thanks to your help. That's
yes, Kate. I love it.
We've got one more question. If anyone wants to throw a last minute one in, we can squeeze it in. But I've just lost it. This person is user, so sorry we don't have their name, but they have said, we have business Meta accounts but only have Facebook. Our media person is not very experienced. She's only finishing her apprenticeship. Will she be eligible to access any mentoring? Oh, this is a question for me. Oh, that's fun. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
She can definitely come and have some mentoring. We mentor lots of different people. We've got lots of people who are young and coming into their careers or working on apprenticeships, and absolutely anybody can access our mentoring. So please do send them our way. We can connect you with amazing mentors like Emma, who will be able to help them develop their skills and work on your Meta account as well. So that's really exciting. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I think it's Stina. I said, are you doing a TikTok session? Maybe. What do you think, Emma?
I could definitely throw in another masterclass. There's not enough time in the day that I can talk about TikTok. So absolutely, if people want another TikTok session, I will do one.